Should I do my review like this? It feels so different with no lights. It's just those lights on. Let's see. Look here. Let me see if I can get dramatic real quick. Hold on. Okay, so this is very different. Well, not really. I've done this before, but I've done this in a wig. I've never done this on a wig that I've made. You know, I've always left the cutting to either my sister or some professionals. But I feel like I did a nice job. So this hair is from Maxglam, and this is actually an Aliexpress vendor. You guys know I've worked with Maxglam before. Some of my favorite looks, one of the wigs that I did for them, which was it was like a curly, I did like half up, half down, and it was really curly. My sister now owns that wig, and she's totally obsessed. She's a girl who's my younger sister. She's very low maintenance when it comes down to hair, so she needed something that she could just like put on and go. And literally every single time I see her, we like, cause she's in New York, so we talk on FaceTime, and she'd be like, my hair, my hair is still good. So she's not having any issue. And from a girl who's not really well versed in hair, that kind of says a lot. Now, this hair is their Brazilian straight, and what I will say about the company before I even go any further is they were very patient. I've had this hair since March, okay? I've had this hair since nice in March, and they hit me up one time about it, and they was like, we were wondering if you were going to be able to do it sometime in June. And you guys know I moved in June, so it's been like I'm backed up to the max. I'm not taking no more new reviews until February of next year. Like, that's how I got to get everybody done. So they were very patient. They did not hound me. They did not threaten me. I've been threatened before. Any of that. They were very, 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 very nice about me getting to this, and I was very happy because I wanted to live with this hair a bit longer than I normally would for straight hair, just because it went from being straight and long to being this short on one side and longer on the other side, and I kind of want to see how it was going to act. So I am wearing their Brazilian straight, and I'm wearing 3 bundles. 3, y'all. I'm wearing 3. I am wearing a 20, a 22, and a 24. And I will say, it's a little refreshing. Like I said, I like to do the shorter bundles for you guys who are not into the lead thickness. But I did like the fact that I was able to do it, and it still has a lot of body to it. Like, I cut it blunt. When I did it, I cut everything like legit straight across blunt, and I went in and took my thinning shears and thinned it out so that it just wasn't if you're from LA and you watch the news, then you know who Christine Divine is. And if you know who Christine Divine is, if you don't know and you're not from LA, Google her. Her hair has been thick and blunt since I was an embryo. So you know how thick this hair was once I cut it. Now, if this was 4 bundles and I cut it, I probably wouldn't have been able to get away with this. But because it was only 3, I was able to get away with it. Shedding. Let's get to shedding. I did experience like that much shedding, and that's when I first received the hair. I didn't seal my wefts with this hair. I didn't do anything abnormally different with this hair that I would do with any other hair. I just kind of let it hit the elements and let it do what it was. Now, they sent me a 16-inch closure for this hair. Clearly, you can tell that I am not wearing a closure. I opted to use a frontal that I had from a pre-existing wig because I found a frontal, well, I have a frontal that is the exact length of that hair, and I want it to be like literally like blunt and just long. And this one wasn't. It was, I believe it was 16 inches. So I opted to take this one out and put it in this hair. So when I first received the hair, I had it with a 16-inch lace closure. Then I kind of wore it with that, but during the time that they sent it, I was just kind of getting into frontal. So I was like, when they asked me what type of hair I wanted, I just said I wanted the hair that they, their straight hair, and I wanted a matching closure. Now that I've kind of graduated, thank you, to frontals, I wanted to see what it would look like and how it would act with the frontal. And I love it much better with this versus I did with the closure, you know? So that was the only difference from the initial wear of this particular hair. But after I wore it a little bit, I noticed that it did stop. The shedding issue stopped. And it was like every so often. But obviously now I'm not going to get anything because I cut all the ends off. And usually that's where most of the snagging comes from. But yeah, once you cut it, you're not going to get it. So if you have a person, like usually I tell people when you buy hair and you want to wear it, sometimes you want to wear it straight out the box. Just make sure that even if you're wearing it straight out the box, you go ahead and you clip the ends. When I do reviews, I very rarely will clip the ends of hair because I want you guys to know how it acted as the ends were still intact. Usually right after, I'll go in and chop all the ends, the dead ends, whatever it is, if they're scraggly or whatever. Even my 40-inch hair, I did that. So my hair probably 36 inches now because I got a lot of that hair off. But once I do an update for that hair, you guys will hear more about that. But yeah, it's once you do it, once you cut that little bit. So if you get a 24 and you cut it to a 22, chances are, and you don't have to cut that much. You don't have to cut 2 inches off. You can cut 8 inches off, an inch off, or half an inch off, and you'll be fine. But that always helps. Even when you trim your real hair, it makes your hair feel better. It makes your hair look better. It gives it more life because it's not being weighed down by something that is technically either not great, not intact. It's, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you do get hair that straight out the box, straight after a co-wash is great. You don't have to cut anything. But if you ever run into that issue, because this is hair that has been discounted, so you're going to run into things that you may not necessarily run into if you bought more expensive hair. This is more on the affordable end. So when it's more affordable, you have to do a little bit more to make it last a little bit longer. Pretty much. As far as the color goes, I didn't put any color in this hair. One of my followers, and I don't remember who it was. I probably haven't even replied to the message yet, but I did see it on Instagram. And she was like, I'm trying to get this look. And it was a girl who had a bob like this, but it was a color from here down, which I thought was ridiculously bomb, beautiful. And I just didn't have the time to do this like that. But I will find the time to do so. This hair is definitely a 1B for sure. It's a nice brown. It's not crazy black, but it's definitely not a 4. And I went ahead and just chopped it up, you know, and then textured it out a little bit just so it can have a little flow. And then I used the frontal that I have, and you guys can see it right here where this damn piece of hair is. This is where my frontal is. And I did kind of go over crazy with the concealer, but just because I was kind of in a rush because it is almost midnight. So yeah, I was feeling like, you know, you get your little old school jams and you start really feeling it. That's what, yes. So after all of these months, this is what my hair looks like. And I will say, it is definitely holding up, Maxglam. We about 3 for 3 right now. And I will say, this hair is some of the nicest straight hair and the most flexible straight hair that I've dealt with. I will say that my bundles were a bit on the long side as far as, you know, width-wise. It was a lot of hair. And when I did put it in initially, because I had a closure, it fit great. But after putting a frontal on, it kind of changed the dynamic. So I had to figure out how to wiggle it in. I didn't get all the hair in, but that was fine. I got most of it in. So I will say their bundles, if yours are anything like mine's, then 3 bundles should be more than enough for you to do a full head or a style like such. I promise you, 3 bundles will be so much enough. And I could have textured the bottom some more to make it a little bit more tapered. But again, because of time reasons, you know, your kid didn't have it. But aside from that, I'm super in love with this. Love this cut. I love the color. I love the style. I love the fact that I can be in pink lipstick and a short haircut. But I got on a shirt with myself where I got on light pink lipstick and blonde hair. So, you know, I love options. If you guys are interested in this hair in any sorts, any capacity, make sure you guys hit up Maxglam for sure, because they're one of those, they're one of my favorites when it comes down to Aliexpress, because I always get great hair, and I always hear back great things about them. I very rarely hear people speak bad of their name. So if you guys are interested, put that below. And I know somebody's gonna ask 2 questions. Am I gonna sell these shirts? I don't know yet. I got this one just made for me. But if you guys are interested, just let me know. You guys know I'm not a merchandise whore like that, so I don't really make things just to sell them. I usually make things for me, and if people like them, I'll sell them. And then the other thing is, will I do a video showing how I put my frontal on? And yes, I will do that. I did it and it got erased. Well, it said it was corrupted. And then will I show a video on this cut? And it's a basic cut. Cut it from here and go down in the back, taper it, and bump it. You good. So I'll catch y'all in my next one.